Hello everybody, it's Junk in the Trunk, hashtag 6. I didn't quite know what to do this weekend, to be honest. We've done so many sort of different things and all that. So I've gone back to these sheets because, as you can see, I've got quite a few. Some my daughter's done for me because I said that I wanted her to do a bit. So she just come in my studio one night and stuck a load of bits down. I said, just go for it. So she's done a few. Those were my two, actually. Quite crazy, but love it. We will do some of them eventually. And she used PVA and water. So, you know, a little bit stiffer. But again, these haven't been worked or anything. They've been dried on the heater. So, you know, I have no problem with that. All right. So she done these. And it was just nice for somebody else to do some so that I could work with, you know, what she done, really. So, yeah. There they are. There's some really good ones, actually, that we can work with. So it's a bit smaller, that one. That was a bit of cardboard. Yeah. And that's going to make quite a nice sturdy. Yeah, that will. And that, you know, lovely. That start of a cover would be lovely. Okay, like I say, this is just the first layer with the paper stuck down and then the gesso over the top. Yeah. And this is the one I'm going to work with. So after I cut it down, which I wanted something to make a cover. All right, and what I thought I would do, I'd do a wraparound cover this time. Yeah. So I cut it all straight and then I measured what I wanted, which I will show you now. Let's have a look. I've done that. So that's 5.5. Yeah. I scored at 5.5. All right, because I'm going to put a journal in here. It's going to be a very trashy journal because I'm using up some of the stuff. And then the back bit, I actually done it 6. Okay, just to give a bit more room for the pages. And then I think this was like, you can do this 2.5 if you've got enough, but I didn't. So I done it 2 3/8. That's all I had left once I trimmed it down. So that my piece, I mean, I've got it to fit my pages that I'm going to put in it, but altogether the piece measures 12, 13, 14 across that way. And what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, 8. Oh, looks no, it can't be. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eighths. I'm going to say 6 eighths is 8 3/4. So that's 8 5/8 high. All right, but depending on what you've got to fit in it. All right, so I've gone through the junk in the trunk that I've already tea stained and, you know, sort of started with, basically. I'll show you how to make that in a minute. And chose, oh, just totally random. This is already creased and everything, so that is going to be stuck to that. Okay, and then I'm going to have a nice pocket there. It's totally random stuff. All right, that's bags. You might have seen me put some colour on that at some point during one of my videos. There's some mail there, mail envelopes. That's a bit of packaging. That's one of those yellow envelopes you get stuff in. Just not a bit of paper. No. Okay. So I've got a mixture of card, paper, envelopes, but I didn't want it too big. All right, because I think if we make it too big on our first one, it's quite a lot to do. All right, because we are going to totally alter the pages. I tend to like these if they're actually, that you can take them apart so that, you know, if you want to put it together, because I'll just show you in a minute. So I might do it so that, you know, there's holes here and we can actually take it out, yeah, and thread things back in. all right, because it's going to be, I don't really want to sew that together until all the pages are sort of done, really, or half done, painted. Yeah, right, so what I thought, and I've got this tag here, and I thought this would make a nice closure. I've got this idea of putting that sort of there, sewing that to that, and that will be a closure, and then we'll do sort of like a wrap around, and if we cover this and make it stronger, okay, and seal it with a couple of layers of Mod Podge or something, so it's quite robust, because that's sort of giving a little bit already, because we don't want it to pull out, then I can have string there and tied around. That's my idea of that. So yeah, so this is what I sort of come up with this week, and I've got to run with it. When I get things in my head, I do have to run with it, all right? But I just thought it was a nice way to get rid of a load of the stuff that I tea stained out of the trunk, that, you know, it wasn't too heavy. And let's go for it. And it doesn't matter if it all goes wrong, but let's go back to school and have some fun. Okay, yeah, it's slightly cracking in places, this. Do you know what? I don't mind, because I haven't sanded this down or put any decoupage over it yet or anything. All right, that is just as it is, basically. All right, a nice one that my daughter done, so that's lovely. I enjoy that, and I think, you know, here I would most probably like to ripped edge, but I haven't got enough there. I would prefer ripped edge, but that's okay. We can, I'll distress this bit. I will distress all this, so it can make it look a bit rougher once I've sanded and everything. Okay, so what you need to do first is choose some of your scrap bits of paper. I'll go back to the cover in a minute. Okay, that's an envelope, but I'm going to put that in that way because I want the little window at the top. But I've got to actually quite, let's have a look, see how much room I got to put a tag in that way. No, I'll do it at the top, it's not enough. So that I'm going to cut at the top. Just take a slither off. Sorry, I'm going to have to get my head in so I can see. Okay, and now we've got a little pocket. Normal thing that we do in our journals, and then we've got a peekaboo pocket as well. Okay, and that's a bit of matte paper, which I've already tea stained. Like I said, I'm going to stick that to this to make that bag a little bit stronger. And then after it's all stuck together, cut it down properly. Okay, because I'm still going to alter this. I'm going to probably paint it or do something with it. All right, that's that. So how many have I done? So let's say one, but that'll be thicker. Yeah, 2, 3, 4. That's a bag. I'll keep that as is. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't really count them, but I'll say 10, 11, and that little bit in there. So I would say around your 10, because that's going to come quite chunky once we add paint and different things to it. So that will be fun. That's plenty, and that's 20. That's 40 sides. So still, you know, that's still quite a lot. Okay, so that's 10 pieces of scrap paper or whatever you got in your trunk. But I am going to stitch all the way around. All right. So I'll just tell you again where I scored. So I scored it like 5.5 because that's, I measured across here. Okay, and it was just under 5.5, so I thought 5.5 would be fine. Yeah. But this bit here, I leave another 1/2 inch in case we needed a bit of room because of how big it gets. All right. So I scored at 5.5, and I usually turn around, okay, and then I scored it 2.5. or just under 2 because I didn't have enough. All right, and this bit here leaves 6. Okay, so I write that on there so you can see it with pencil. If I can find it. Oh, there it is. So that was 5.5 inches. That was 6 inches. And say we call that 2.5. Mine was slightly under because I didn't have enough. But you do need a little bit, at least 2.25 really. Okay, just so that you've got a bit of that fold over there. Okay, oh, and the height. Do that. The height was 8, and it was 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's nearly 8 3/4. We'll call it 8 3/4. Actually, it's easier. Okay, and all the papers go together. So it's 5.5 that way. No, just under. All right, and the height is 8.5. Okay, so you want to make sure you chop everything down that size. This will actually, this bag, once that's on, it's most probably about 8.25. All right, I've left a little bit of overhang when I cover that. All right, which I'm going to do now because that can dry while we do the cover. Get that stuff on. I was like, oh, how can we get rid of loads of stuff? Because, I mean, you know what it's like. We've got so much stuff and so much, you know, odd bits of card. You need to get rid of a lot at once. You know, I could do loads of tuck spots, which I might most probably do that in the week. Actually, it won't be a junk in the trunk, but I'll be doing some sort of tuck spots and that because I've got a couple of journals to do. So I've done some tags now and I need to do the tuck spots. So anyway, stop waffling and let's get sticking. Okay, the first thing I've done is I filled the bag up with acetate, bits of acetate, all right, so that it doesn't go through. Okay, so hopefully that, because these bags are quite thin, all right. My glue I'm using this time is not full strength. I know I've just made it a little bit thicker for this job. It's about 1-to-1 ratio, not quite full strength, but if you prefer to use full strength, then please do so. And then I'll just glue it on. It can dry then. It's actually quite nice as it is, but me being me needs to change it. Okay, and I do want this little bit coming, just poking through here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do a bit of work on this one then. Okay, I'm going to sand it down lightly. Nearly forgot. I've got to do this bit here because that's the bit we'll see through that bit. I mean, you might not have this bit, but I thought it was ideal to make a, you know, a closure of some kind. So I'm going to cover that bit. I don't need to do that bit there because that's sewn in, and then I will need to do the inside as well. So, but I might paint that. I'll just get this the same sort of thing as the cover really. So I'll do that now. What I need to do is go through that hole a bit. So I'm going to cover that first, and then I'll cut that out in a minute. Gets all the air bubbles out. Okay, and I'll leave that to dry before I do the other side. Right, well that's drying. We'll get on with the cover. I've thought about it, and I thought, well, because this is only, it's not thick card, we need to reinforce these bits here because that will weaken. Alright, so you can either use your fabric or Tyvek. Alright, so I'm going to use that. So I use that one there and that one there. Let's stick that down. Right, we'll carry on with the theme. I'm going to use brown packaging paper. Okay, and it's all crimpled up. And I'm going to keep it like that. Alright, and cover the inside of this. I quite like the look of that. Oh, let's have a look. Where's my silicone one? Oh, it's a bit small. I don't know where the big one's gone, actually. Never mind. Right, just cut around that minute, just to make it easier to work with. I'll be off camera doing this. Sorry, it's too big, right, to get in camera, and I'm only doing it roughly just to get rid of some of that. Not too much because it's a bit too sticky for that. Just gonna add a little bit of that. I might even put some tea on. Right, this is an experiment. Okay, I'm gonna put some sort of tea on. Well, actually it's coffee mixture. Okay, and then add the glue so we get a little bit of something else going on. Messy, isn't it? You can see I'm in my element doing this, can't you? Go over with this, I think, just to make sure there's no air bubbles, but right, I'll go and put that to dry. Okay, that's nice and dry. So before I sand this down a bit, I'm going to use ink pad over it, and I'm going to run over it. Okay, and just pick up some of those crinkles. Okay, so that's gone all nice and hard again. All right, and to soften this up, you need to sort of work it nice and sort of gently at first. All right, and there's a couple of places here, you know, that need sorting out, but I'm not worried about that for a minute because I'm going to use some decoupage on the top anyway, so let's get that moving again. Right, so this is the piece here, so I'm going to distress this a bit. Oops. If you haven't got one of these, you can do this with a pair of scissors, but please be careful. And add a little bit of ink. Okay. Right, so that one was dry as well. It's got all my acetate in. I'm going to take that out. I didn't have one big bit. I used all my little bits. Okay, yeah, so it's still got a nice hole. So I trim this off. making sure that you don't cut the edge of the bag. I might sew this anyway, so it'll be okay, but okay, let's get some ink onto this one. And what else did I do? So that was that. That'll go on drying. It was this, wasn't it? Okay, so just trim that back down. I sanded that bit because that's the bit that's going to stick to the cover. Yeah, so I need this side done like that one. So I'm going to do that now, and then that can dry, and I just cut away there, and then I got this nail file and just done that. Okay, of course gessoed it. So again, I'll put some over there. See, it's the drying really that takes the time. I know I could get my dryer out, but I tend to do things and then put them away and then go back to something else, you know, while it's drying. So of course my video sometimes looks a bit like it's all over the place, but there's no other way of doing it really, unless I have 2 or 3 things on the go, you know, which I don't really want to make. Well, I can make 2 of these, but I've got my other ones at the moment, so I don't really need any more. Right, this is the thicker piece, so I'm putting that, okay, over there, so to make a bit of strength there. Okay, that's all nice and dry now. Just a little bit there that needs sticking down. I got visitors next door now. That season is come upon us. So Saturdays they tend to go and have a look at the garden to see where their boundaries are. It's literally right next door to my studio. But never mind. I try and get in my door sometimes because I have 2 doors, but one's sort of locked and got bits and pieces on it. They still try and get in, try and kick the door and everything. And then I go, "Excuse me, can I help you?" And I think I'm like, "Oh, sorry." Okay, let's get credit card. Quickness. Let's put some on. Give it a dry. So now is time to put this together, because I mean I could do some decoupage on that, but I'm not sure on how things are going to be in the middle of this one, because it's just going to be totally random. I'm going to get paints out on them. I'm going to most probably decoupage some of the pages. I might even actually get my jelly plate out and go from there. Right, so this is going to be either glued in here, which I'll do that now. Okay, but I'm going to stitch mine like that. I don't mind that. Yeah. I know we haven't got a cover there, so that's going to go there. And you're going to see that there, but that's okay. I'm just wondering whether to leave that bit there, so that could be a tuck spot. I think I will, actually. Yeah. So I'm not going to sew that bit. I'm going to sew all the way around there. And then definitely sew along here, okay, and along there, and there, and there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick it in first. Right, so I'm lifting that piece up there, okay, just to make sure that's glued down nicely. Right, I'm going to go and stitch that now, and then I'll be back with you. Right, I stitched all around the outside, okay, and then like I said, I stitched around here, reinforcing that, so that's nice and sturdy. I'm just thinking I could have stitched around here as well. I think I will. Sorry, I just saw that then. Okay, just and created a tuck spot there. I've just put a bit of that, one of these tags that unfinished in there. Yep. So I'm just going to go and stitch around there a minute. Yeah, just stitched around there as well. Okay. And so, right. That is it for a moment. Oh, I know what I was going to show you. I'll just put this in because I just want to get a feel for it. Yeah, it's fine. And then the tie. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I had to knot this together because it wasn't quite long enough, but that's okay. So I'll just find the centre, which is a bit off centre, which is fine. And then put that through there. Just the same as doing a tag. I think I'll go the other way now, so it pulls from the top, not the bottom. So I go in from the top that way. I just think it looks a bit neater, and that's being reinforced about 3 times that. All right, and I would say if you've done something like that and with constant use it breaks, then I would cut that off and make a hole here with a metal grommet. Do you see what I mean? So you still, you know, you can still utilize this because you can make a tag shape. Do something like that. But that's really quite thick now because I reinforced that about 4 times with different papers. Okay. And then one will go. And again, you know, I don't mind the knot. It's organic. You know, this is what we're doing. So. And then one round the back and then round the front. I usually pick up that there. And then tie off. You either tie like that or you can knot it, but you know, I'm not going to cut this until I know what's going on inside really. And so let's see if we can just without the bow, just like that. Okay, that'll be fine. And then if you dangled, you know, once you know what's inside, if you dangled some charms on here, that would keep a bit of weight and keep it down. Yeah, or even a few more knots just to go with the organicness of it. Okay, well, that's the outside done. So now, well, not totally, I will say that, because until I know, like I said before, until I know what I'm doing inside on this one, I'm going to leave it, okay, because I might do, don't know, might do nature, might do botanical. It just depends on what happens with the pages. All right, I'm definitely going to play with some inks on the front of this anyway. This is not how it's going to stay. So that is the cover with, you know, quite a little different tag for a closure. Okay, very organic. So the next bit, so this is going to be part 1. Part 2 is doing something with these. Okay, which I will most probably work on 2 or 3 pieces all together. You know, I'm going to literally put them out like this and start painting them and then see what happens from there. Okay, that's an envelope. That went wrong, or not went wrong, but I didn't use it. I might have ripped it, so I ripped it a bit more and we'll use it in this. Right, so this is going to be part 1, and I'll see you in part 2.